You're listening to Flip Empire, the show committed to helping real estate entrepreneurs who want to build their empire without sacrificing their life. Your success and freedom starts now with your host, Alex Pardo.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the podcast. I'm grateful and fortunate to have my good friend Keith Blackborg from financialjourney.life back on the podcast for a third time. So episode 544, definitely check that out, where we talk about looking and viewing wealth as the business. The previous masterclass, episode 590, we talked about advanced tax strategies, specifically for real estate investors, and just one of the many strategies that Keith shared on that particular podcast episode can save you tens of thousands of dollars. So if you haven't had an opportunity to listen to those episodes or watch them on YouTube, make sure to check out the link in the show notes page. And on today's episode here, we're going to talk about transitioning from working in a business to becoming work optional. That is a kind of a phrase that Keith made me aware of not too long ago. And I never really thought, like, work optional. What does that really mean? So with that being said, Keith, why don't you kind of tease them a little bit about what you're going to get into, and then we can kind of dive right into it.
Sure. I really want to share the journey that somebody might go through on their journey to work optional, and really sell what it looks like to sell their business, not just from a financial perspective, but from an emotional perspective. For those that don't know, my story in like 30 seconds is I built up a real estate empire. I shouldn't call it empire. My wife.
That's a perfect word to use, actually, on the Flip Empire show.
I started doing rental houses, flipping, wholesaling, and then we moved into active investments in hotels and apartments. And so it was really my wife running that real estate business. In 2016, I thought Hillary was going to get elected and the real estate market was going to crash. I was wrong. But as part of that, I sold out of my CPA firm, sold out of the hotels, sold out of the apartment, sold everything that was retying us to Dallas, Texas. And we just went and traveled the world for a few years. And so 3 years, we saw every continent except Antarctica and had a blast with it. And then as a result, we got the best souvenir you could ever have, and that's your son, my son. And so he was been a wonderful blessing. But along there, I really there was this whole journey. I went from really focusing on work to life, and then kind of coming out of it and starting something new, what ended up becoming Financial Journey.
Yeah. So awesome. And by the way, I so appreciate you elaborating on your story, because I think it really provides the context necessary for what you're going to talk about here.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So I'm gonna breeze through. I'm gonna show a couple visuals for those that happen to be watching YouTube, but I'll still be talking through stuff so you can also just see. So part of what I like people to think about is, what are you building? If you're going to spend all this time for a financial activity, I think wealth should truly be the business. Getting clear on your goals and then building the wealth around those goals will help you have clarity on where you're targeting, so you're not overshooting and spending 50 years of your life building towards something that you don't even really want or need, but you can get to those goals and start enjoying life as part of that, and understanding why you're building as part of that. And so deciding to focus your business towards work optional, so that you have the option to work. This doesn't mean that you have to retire and sit on a beach for the rest of your life. I've sat on the beach for a long time, and I will say at some point it gets old. So having purpose beyond that, this is about getting of not having to work. If you want to go play with your kids or just go on a trip with your friends, you've got that optional. You're not stuck in that business. And probably, and as part of this, though, I don't want you to get so tied up into some goal of work optional. Someday at Financial Journey, we promise 3 to 5 years. If you've got a business, you got assets over $1 million in assets, that's our promise to you if you're accredited and you've got an active business. But I want you to enjoy the journey, so you can really change your focus and enjoy the process. I want you to get clear on a specific cash flow goal, the cash flow you need to live your current lifestyle plus a little extra. And then we start adding dream success and other things on top of it if you want the private jet and stuff. But the point is, I want you to get to a place where work becomes optional as soon as possible, because often I find when people get there, they reassess and they determine what's really important.
That's right.
I want to help you select the right investments for you that fit your competitive advantage, the stuff you know, the stuff you're good at, the stuff you like. And when you're able to focus on something that you like doing that fits your skill set, you're typically able to grow those investments much faster than if you were to be in something you're not interested in that doesn't fit you. And that's how one of the ways we get much higher returns than what our average. Most of the time, most of the deals presented in Financial Journey are 15 to 20% IRR, internal rate of return plus, meaning we had an apartment deal presented just this last week that, based on the track record, 41% internal rate of return, meaning you're making your money 41% each and every year.
Yeah, which is
phenomenal. I want to help you get clear on the wealth business, what to be doing each year. So you've got a 3 to 5 year roadmap in front of you, so you always know what to work on and when.
Keith, let me kind of jump in and ask you, because you've worked with so many entrepreneurs, you've worked with real estate investors. When you had the CPA firm, I'm imagining you worked with a lot of different entrepreneurs. What are some of the common pitfalls and challenges that you find entrepreneurs make when it comes to what we're discussing here? And most importantly, like, how can they start to make the right decisions when it comes to investments? How do they start to just avoid some of these challenges that you see people falling into?
I think it starts with getting clear in your goals, and then knowing like when you want to stop, what you truly care about, and matching up your strategy, your investments, your business with those goals of truly building your wealth business. So instead of your work business being the primary thing you build, it's simply a division of your wealth business that overall is intended to fuel your time and your impact on those you care about.
Yeah. For those people that are listening that have the mentality, hey, I'm working hard to make sure that I can provide for my family, to make sure I'm able to take care of my responsibilities, take care of my taxes. And then I have a little bit left over, but I don't feel like I have enough to be able to invest. Is your advice for those people? Hey, work on, acquire or sharpen skills that can allow you to earn more money, so that then you can take that earned active income and turn it, put it into assets that spit off cash flow, invest it, etc. Or is your message, hey, it doesn't really matter how much you have, you can always invest? And like, I'm kind of curious your mindset as it relates to people that maybe don't feel like they have enough money to invest, where they don't have 6-7 figures where they can put into investments.
If you live in the United States, I think anybody who's starting off can reach work optional. I think 95% of Americans could reach work optional if they had the right focus on where to get there. And that's part of what I help align people to do. So if I were talking to somebody who's just getting started, I'd find something, the simplest plan to reach retirement and be sure you're going to be secure. I think that's just to buy 20 rental houses, one rental house per year, pay them off. You don't need the debt. I think the debt might help, and that's more advanced stuff. But if you just want a core simple plan, buy 20 rental houses, and in time, all the mortgages will get paid off. You'll be okay. If you want to accelerate that, that's when we start talking about syndications, or how do you get equity or leverage to go faster. And so it starts with somebody having a core skill set, a business they know. And then that's when I talk about competitive advantage, what fits you. And I love to try and help match great businesses, investments to the stuff that people already like and know. And that just amplifies what their efforts can do.
That's right. That's right. And one thing I would add, and man, feel free to kind of push back on me here, Keith. And this is ironic coming from me, because it's called the Flip Empire Show. And, I cater a lot to real estate investors. But, when you talk about what interests you, there's a lot of interest these days in alternative assets, right? Crypto, NFTs, the metaverse is starting to really like get popular, and I don't believe that those are going anywhere. And I think you would probably agree with me. Don't feel like real estate is the only place to invest your dollars, right?
Yeah.
There's alternative assets, and that's one of the things that's been really cool about your community, Keith Financial Journey, is the exposure to different investment opportunities.
Thank you for that. Yes, on cryptocurrency, I don't think all the currencies are going to be around always and forever. There's some like Ethereum that has more practical use that I think that could be here in 10 years. What I really like about crypto is the underlying blockchain technology and its influence on Internet 3.0. So when I look at investing at crypto, it's how do I invest in the technology that's really going to contribute to Internet 3.0? How do I find the Googles or the Facebooks back in early 2000 and invest in those companies? And that's where I love to have great speakers or investment presenters, people who are management teams associated with these companies come in, they present, and then as a community, we get to do due diligence on them. We talk about it, we hear the presentation, kick them off, and then we get to kick it around. And we've got people with all different skill sets within Financial Journey, people who are real estate investors, people who are business owners, software engineers. Yeah. And so everybody brings their unique perspective, and those that have experience in a particular niche speak up to add their value when it helps with a particular deal.
Yeah, that's fantastic and well said. So yeah, guys, if you listen to episode 590, we talked a little bit about Financial Journey. Again, these podcasts, we want it to be as educational as possible. We want you to walk away with something tangible, at least one thing that you can implement in your life and business. So if you have any questions for Keith, you can connect with him, financialjourney.life. If you guys have any questions for me, anything we discussed on this particular podcast episode or any of the others that Keith has been on, you guys know where to reach me. You guys can connect with me, and or if you even have any questions about my experience in Financial Journey, I'm happy to have any conversations with anyone about that. So Keith, man, and kind of wrapping here, anything that you would just kind of add big picture as it relates to anything we've discussed on the last 2 or 3 podcast episodes you've been on?
So what I really want to bring in and just kind of wrapping up the business conversation is you get to a point where you build systems to increase the value of the business. You start looking at a sale 2 to 3 years down the road. What can you do with the finances to increase the business? At some point, you're either going to make the decision to sell and maximize the sales price, the terms, lower the taxes, or you're going to hold the business and try and turn it into a lifestyle business where you're maybe working 10 to 30 hours a week, and it really feeds you. But at some point, you'll let go of that business, and there's this whole discussion of transitioning out, letting go, the loss of identity. That's a part of it. So I know when I owned the CPA firm, the real estate business, I had lots of people who knew me, who respected me, who wanted me. I felt really important. So it really fed my ego, letting go of that to just go travel in places where I was just another tourist in some cases. There was a loss of identity associated with the business. And so really some of that transition to freedom is the mental freedom, leaving things behind, and then going and doing something, re-engaging with some of your goals, things that you haven't thought about in years, maybe hobbies or relationships that are important to you, and really seeing your blank canvas, taking a month to 12 months to rest, and then figure out what you want to do next. If you've got the energy to go build something again, cool. If you want to just relax with family and friends and maybe have a big charitable impact, that's totally up to you. But think through in that quiet space where you want to go from there, and you'll have a new perspective once work is truly optional.
That's a perfect way to wrap this up. And there's a lot of wisdom in what you just shared. So awesome, Keith, man. I still want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for being such a giver. I'm grateful for the community you've built and getting to be a part of it. And you have a lot of great people in there that are also go-givers. And again, it's just really cool to see the different investment opportunities out there. Whether you take advantage of them or not, just being aware of them and being connected to people that are involved in some of these investments and seeing the IRRs and just some of the returns It's pretty awesome. So appreciate you sharing your knowledge and wisdom, my man. I know you and I will continue to do things together. So guys, financialjourney.life, if you want to connect with Keith. And then again, the biggest way you can repay us is not just you've already made the investment of time to listen or to watch and get educated, but it's now what are you going to do with the information? All right. So that's what I'll leave you with. Keith, my man. So appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, Alex. Always a pleasure.
Have a great one, guys. Hope you enjoyed that episode. But before you go, I've had a lot of people recently reach out to me wanting to learn more about Ascend, wanting to understand how the mastermind component works, how the coaching relationship works. And so right now we're actually on a waiting list. But what I would encourage you to do is if you think you're the right fit and you think you could benefit from being a part of our community, head over to ascendyoursuccess.com, watch the short video, and then just click the apply to join button below. And then we'll be in contact with you if and when a spot opens up. So really appreciate you listening to Flip Empire here, and I look forward to connecting with you on the next show. Take care.